Hello, hi there Geminis, my name is Bella and welcome to my channel. And if you're watching me for the first time, how I do all of my readings is with the help of my spirit guides. So that's how I do all my readings. And just to quickly add in, because I've had a few questions from people, so I thought I'd just make sure I get it all out there. All the links to me and my personal services, should you wish to have a personal reading with me, are just down below. I have links to my websites where I do mini video readings or I do longer Skype call readings, and they start from as little as £6.99 and then they increase depending on what it is you want and how long you want it for. Or you can join me on my Instago app where you might have a very, very quick question that you just want to ping me and I just send you an answer back, and that's as little as £4.99. So if you'd like to know more about that or perhaps join me on my Facebook page, then do that there. Now when I do my readings, it's live in my home, anything could happen, and sometimes you hear my dog snoring, which you can hear him right now, so I do apologise. But I'm going to tell you what it is that my guides want you to know in terms of the general overall thing for you to be considering in the month of November. So I think last month you had a bit of a inner conflict, a bit of an inner dialogue with yourself about many, many things. And it feels to me that there is definitely, you come to the end of the road of that. Mostly, some of you might egg a little bit into November with still having some of that conflict, but mostly, particularly as you get to the third week, you've definitely diluted that. And there is an understanding that what you dwell on, if you dwell on your misfortunes, then there's you give them greater power, and then the more they do you harm. And so basically, the things that you've been dwelling about that have been bothering you in regards to your love life, and no matter what way that is, the more you give it power, the more it will just harm you. So try not to focus on that, and try to focus on the positive. And I do get most of you will be like that in no matter what your circumstances are in a romantic nature. But the overall thing that I'm getting, and the reason why I stress that is because there is like pockets of anxiety in the month of November at an astrological and energetic level, and so you might get caught up in that if you can sort of put your focus on the more positive. And I've had to say that to a couple of signs. Now, as we start the month, there's a few things. So I get to you, if you're single, watch out for a water sign, who will be very, very good for you. And also, it feels like a Leo is also as well in terms of the only fire sign that I would say would also be very, very good for you as you consider your dating options in that month. But for everybody else that's in an established connection or has a connection to somebody, whether it's an ex or otherwise, my guides are saying here you will make a decision, and this will either be in the first week, or for some of you it will be in the second week, and some of you it will definitely be by the third week. But I get for a lot of you, you're really making decisions to kind of, this can be two things: to walk away from something, to really energetically let something go, or to even walk out of your relationship, or to really make a difference in your approach, so that actually what you're walking away from is unhealthy, perhaps energy that you've had about a situation, and to kind of see it from a different viewpoint, and to take action to actually bring the bond closer. So it's about you discarding, again, that unhelpful energy. To get the theme here. Now, for some of you, your discarding of an actual person could be because that person's energy is just not good for you, and so you're doing the right thing. But I get for some of you, it's actually not, I'm not saying it's your responsibility, but it's almost like if you can take a different viewpoint and then you approach it differently, gives you everything you need. It just needs that slight tweak, that slight change that kind of then makes it so much better and brings it to you in a much more aligned way. But like I said, for some of you, you'll do that quicker, and some of you will do it by the third week. Because I get for some of you, it feels really anxious about making that move, whether it's leaving somebody or even changing something about how you go about things, or whether you voice something, or whatever way that turns out for you. That there is some fear that what happens if you're left sort of feeling worse. I can guarantee you, in both those circumstances, you're not left with feeling worse, because you have clarity of mind about what it is you need, or what it is, or how it is you can go about things to get exactly what you want. And for those of you where you're changing something perhaps about what you're doing in this, try it and see, because you'll see exactly what I mean. You take that little tweak, you change it up. So let me give you an example. You might be having constant arguments with somebody all the time, and the way you've been reacting to that person is to react back to them. And so it then perpetuates the same thing, whereas actually silence is golden. And then by just changing that small thing, then dies down all the arguments completely, because actually that person can't hasn't got anything to buffer towards, and so it has to dissipate, and so then nothing escalates. Do you get me? That's just an example of a change that you can do that actually makes everything better. And that change could also be that you need to reach out to that person. You might have been sitting there thinking, I'm waiting for somebody else to do it, and that would be the wrong thing. But if you change it and you do it, then everything's fixed. So I'm just trying to give you different examples to get you to see that actually there's something that you could do that actually makes it exactly the way you need it to be, just by switching things up a little bit. What have you got to lose? Or walk away. And some of you will. And contently to do that. I get here in the third week, for those of you who have resolved, let's say, relationship issues, there's much more hope. There's a better connection. You both walk together, in a much better way. I get here, there's like the things that you need to have in a relationship, like my guide's saying travel plans and holidays. And again, it's more of a movement of you moving together instead of moving apart from somebody else. So, for example, if you've been waiting to reconnect with somebody and then you've made the decision that actually I'm not going to wait for them, I'm going to do the reaching out, and then bam, you're back together, then you really are back together. Your paths are then synced back together and in line together, and you then sort of walk forward together, and it's very harmonious. And my guide's saying here, you need to give everything time, because especially if you're getting back with somebody, you need to give it the time and the patience, but you need to know that all the ingredients are there to make it very successful, and that actually for a lot of Geminis, your wish, your heart's desire is very, very much there. And mostly it's coming from that shift of mindset from last month, from it being this kind of inner conflict and sort of with yourself about what you should and shouldn't do, how you should be, to then you not dwelling on the negative of the situation because of that blowing out proportion, then switching it to much more positive for that to blow out proportion. We want the positive to blow out proportion, don't we? Not the negative. So it's just a bit like that. Overall, the balance from last month comes better in your mind. That gives you clearer clarity. So all of that turmoil, even though it was uncomfortable, it is there for you to make a very rational decision. You get to that decision, whether it's to leave or to change something that you need to do, then you do it. Hey presto, life is happy. It's as simple as that. And for people that know me very, very well, what we think about, we create. So be mindful about what it is that you're thinking and you're creating. If you're single, you need to be manifesting the right kind of person that turns up in your life. And it's been indicated that the right type will be a water sign or a Leo. So bear that in mind. But think about what it is that you're thinking. If you're thinking, oh, it's always the same thing, it's always going to let me down, no, nobody ever really loves me, then that language is not helpful for you in terms of who it is that the universe will then align you to. They'll align you to what it is that you're telling yourself. So start to believe differently, or switch or change something up. So sorry to go on a bit, but I want your happiness, guys. So I do hope that that's helped you all today, and in relation to any decisions that you feel like you need to be making in November that is right for you and you alone and your happiness. Then I hope that's helped. So again, I love to hear from all of you. Very, very grateful for all your beautiful comments and how you've all been so nice. I do appreciate it. And again, join me on my Facebook page if you'd like to see me live Monday to Friday, also too. So you all have an amazing November, and I will see you all again in December. Take care.